Welcome to the AI Survival Club. In this video, we are talking about the why. Let's keep it real. AI is here to stay, and it's time we start working with it instead of pretending it's going away. By the way, my name is Justin, and I'm one of the co-founders of the AI Survival Club. And listen, I'm not here to hype up AI or scare you into thinking you're behind. I actually believe the opposite. I think you're right on time. Now, what I do believe is you should be prepared, and now is the time. If you act now and start learning this stuff, you're early. That window is still open. But if you wait a few more months, you will be behind. Not because you're not capable, but because the pace of technology right now is moving so fast. And what we're really doing here isn't just learning AI tools. We're learning how to learn technology. That's the skill that matters most. Tools change, platforms change, models change. But if you approach AI and if you approach new technology, learn how to experiment with it and apply it to real life and work, that's how you actually make progress instead of always feeling like you're constantly trying to play catch up. So in this video, I want to walk you through the AI landscape. Not every tool on earth, but the major platforms, the ones you should be aware of, why they exist, and what role they actually play in real life. Not theory, not hype, just how this stuff is actually being used. Specifically, I'm going to talk about AI, OpenAI, ChatGPT, Google's Gemini, Google's NotebookLM, Anthropic's Claude, Perplexity AI, Microsoft Copilot, Meta AI, which is built on Llama, X's AI, which is Grok, Midjourney, and Apple's AI layer. And then we're going to talk about like the broader kind of idea of agentic AI, which is basically AI agents that can actually take on work instead of just answering questions. You don't need to master all of these. You just need to understand what role each plays so that you don't treat them all like one big giant blob. Now, when most people think of AI, they automatically think of ChatGPT or OpenAI. And it makes sense because it was one of the only platforms that was public, and it went public in a meaningful way, which allowed people to use it. It had a first mover's advantage, and first movers typically shape how people associate with the category. But I want to be clear. First movers don't actually create the long-term dominance. It's not necessarily a indicator of the best technology. A good analogy is early search engines. At one point, we had AOL search, we had Yahoo search, we had Ask Jeeves. They were early. People recognized the names. And then Google came along and they had the better product. They were not first in market, but their product worked better. They started introducing indexing and how relevancy works, and relevance scores, and how information is surfaced. AI is in a similar phase right now. OpenAI is only dominant right now. Again, ChatGPT, OpenAI, they're only dominant right now because it made AI approachable and useful at a moment when most people had never interacted with anything like it before. And that matters. But just like search, being early does not automatically mean you win forever. So ChatGPT is best understood as a thinking tool. It's where people go to write. It's where people go to reason. It's where people go to think through problems. And it hopefully will help you get unstuck. It's incredibly good at that, but it's not the entire AI landscape, and it's not supposed to be. Let's look at Google, for example. Google took a different approach. They didn't build just one AI tool. They built multiple because you have multiple needs in life. So Gemini is like a tool that is designed to live inside of Google's other tools. Think of Gemini as like the search engine assistant or your email assistant or your document creation. Gemini is also good at Code Assist, which is a capability that is built into Google's ecosystem. So if you're writing code or viewing code or even trying to understand the technical systems, Gemini's Code Assist is designed to work alongside developers, and it's even good with vibe coding. So if you just want to try to create some code, it's great at that. It does not replace the need to learn code itself, though. NotebookLM is a little different. It does its job totally differently. It is good with things that you upload, creating its own materials, infographics. It can create podcasts. It can take all of your notes and make sense of them. It can take a lot of information in and output a very clean, systematic and organized output. Next, we have Claude. Claude is another example. It's a very specialized system. It's one that a lot of technical people use. Claude is often referred to as the coder's coder. So it's extremely strong with reading, writing, and reasoning through code logic, especially longer and more complex code bases. It's also very good at explaining code in a way that actually makes sense and not just dumping little snippets on you. But at the same time, Claude isn't only for developers. It's excellent for clarity and structure. So think about long documents, editing, organizing, messy thinking, maybe even tightening your arguments. Claude is very good for that. Think about this. As AI gets more powerful, the people who stand out are the ones who are producing the best output. They're the ones that can learn how to work with AI to clearly communicate ideas, whether it's through writing or through code. Next, we have Perplexity, which focuses on search. And it's not like traditional search. You ask it real questions, you get direct answers, and you can see where the information comes from. So where everybody has an opinion in the world and everybody has, where their thought is, this AI backs up what it's telling you with actual links and references. Next, we have Microsoft Copilot. Copilot is really, really good as an embedded tool. So think about your Microsoft Words, your Excels, your emails. These tools have Copilot embedded into them, specifically in the Microsoft platform. So it makes it really, really good for people who are actually using that already. Then you have Meta's AI and Grok. They're two separate platforms, but they live inside of a social media world. If you're on X, you already know that X is kind of positioned as the place where freedom of conversation reigns. Grok kind of follows that same philosophy. It has fewer restrictions, it answers questions other platforms avoid, and it gives you a much more open view of what people are actually saying. We do at the AI Survival Club like the freedom, but we also believe it comes with the level of responsibility. It's a tool that should be used intentionally and not casually. You also have creative and execution tools like Midjourney, Canva AI, Notion AI. These are all the tools that are not just about thinking, but they're about turning ideas into, whether it's a visual, a workflow, a document, a system, or a finished output. I want to specifically talk about Canva, and it does a great job in creating graphics, videos. It helps you edit using AI, and it's very approachable and easy to work with, and it works well alongside other AI platforms. Notion AI is also very powerful for its workflows and automations. It's not about building the perfect connection or the perfect system. It's about connecting to the execution and reducing friction. We've seen a lot of members in our community get real value out of it. And I want to make sure that we talk about the other thing, which was agentic AI. Now, this is where AI stops being something you ask questions about, and it starts becoming something you delegate work to. So think about it from a standpoint of being able to monitor or summarize or follow up or even check conditions. That's where AI is starting to head towards. So it's going to be a place where it takes work off your plate. Now, here's the honest part. Over the next year or two, basic AI use is going to be assumed, not because AI is going to take over everything, but because you have to be able to leverage it in an efficient way. The people who are overwhelmed are going to fall behind. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to pick a favorite platform. You just need to start learning how to learn technology and apply it in a way that actually helps your life instead of adding more noise. That's why we built the AI Survival Club. It's not to overwhelm people with tools, not to turn anyone into a developer, but to work with people and show them how to apply AI to real, everyday situations using done-with-you tools, prompts, and workflows. If this is clicking with you, here's what I'd suggest you do next. Don't try to remember all of this. Don't try to piece it together on your own. That's how people end up confused and consuming a lot of content on AI and never really doing anything. What I would say to you is go to the link in the bio, check out the AI Survival Club. For the first 100 people, we're keeping it simple. $10. That's not a course. That's $10. There's places where you could spend hundreds or even thousands on courses hoping to get it, hoping to get through it fast enough to justify the cost. It's less than what most people spend on a cup of coffee without thinking twice. Inside the AI Survival Club, we work with you to take these platforms and apply them to your real everyday life. We turn AI from something interesting into something you can actually use. We reduce stress over everyday tasks instead of adding more noise. And we build simple systems to save you time throughout the week. So click on the link, get in, get oriented, and start executing with AI. And remember this, you won't lose your job to AI. You lose your job to someone who knows how to use AI.
Esta fue la